Good morning. This is Pastor Marvin Osborne, First Baptist Church of Birmingham, Ohio. Let me ask you this. What comes to your mind when you hear the name Jezebel? That's an old term, isn't it? Jezebel. I remember the old sitcoms back in the 70s. If someone was some woman who was trying to lure a married man away from his wife, she would be called a Jezebel, someone who is untrustworthy, someone who has a poor reputation. Names have meaning, don't they? We think of the name Washington, and we think of maybe George Washington, and the father, the first president of the United States. We think of Lincoln, and we think of the Emancipation Proclamation. We think of his assassination. We think of Kennedy, and we think of maybe the first president of the modern era, and certainly his assassination. But we also think of the name John Wilkes Booth, and we know that he is an assassin. He's an assassin. We think of maybe Jeffrey Dahmer, and we think of a serial killer. Names have meaning. And what does your name mean? When someone says your name, does it conjure up an image of someone who loves Jesus, who walks their talk? If they live out their faith, is that how people view you, or they view you in a negative fashion? And I tell you what, that's something that we should all be aware of. None of us are perfect, but we should all we're known by what we do. We're known by what we say. And if our walk doesn't match our squawk, as one godly lady said, or our walk doesn't match with our talk, you know what? We're seen as a hypocrite. Is that right? Well, it says in Proverbs 22:1, it says, "A good name is rather to be chosen than great riches, and loving favor rather than silver and gold." That idea of our reputation, that idea of how people view us, a good name, our reputation, how people see us and view us and think of us, really does matter. And he says it's worth more than money. And so many people will give up their good name for money, for that quick cash, for they're going to hurt somebody in a business deal. They'll say it's not personal, it's business. Well, in truth, it's all personal, isn't it? You can't separate one from the other, because how you deal in your business life is a reflection of your personal life. And if you've cheated me in your business life, what makes you think I'm going to befriend you in our personal life? The two are tied together, aren't they? And he says that you and I are in this world, and really, we're going to leave our reputation. We're hoping that our life is a reflection of Jesus Christ. And we're hoping that when people see us or think about us after we're gone, that they think that we were a man of God or a woman of God, and someone who stood for God in the midst of the troubles and the trials of this world, that idea of a good reputation. I think of those people who have gone before me, and I think of those godly men that made an impact in my life. I think of Dr. Wilmington, and I think of my friends Mark Lynch and Greg Pendel, and so many others that went on before me. I think about my great grandfather, my great grandfather Stanley, and godly man. And that idea of their reputation, and it encourages me in my walk with Christ. And I hope that after I'm gone, if the rapture of the church has not taken place, that people will think of me of a man, although by no means perfect, certainly someone whose faith was genuine, someone who walked with Christ. And I think that's what you want as well, isn't it? How do we get to that point? It's a day by day. It's decision by decision, isn't it? It's an idea of I'm going to get up and do what I may not exactly want to do. I'm going to be in church whether I feel like it on Sunday or not. I'm going to read my Bible. I'm going to love on people even when they're unlovable. And we're just going to take that step by step by step by step. And eventually that becomes our testimony. Our faithfulness becomes, or lack of faithfulness becomes, how people view us. He says a good name is rather to be chosen. It means it's a choice. We have a choice of what kind of name that we leave. Are we going to leave a name that our children will gladly walk in? Or are we going to leave a name that they're going to run from? Something to think about today. This is Pastor Marvin Osborne saying God loves you, and I love you as well, and I'll talk to you soon.